What's good, YouTube? It's the one and only Fourth and Goal, better known as Rigby, man, and we're back in another video. Now, as you all know, man, the NFL season just wrapped up, and we just got through a historic, crazy wildcard weekend. And as you all know, after the playoffs and the Super Bowl, it's the off season, and within the off season, you have things like the draft, you have the free agency, re-signings, and trades, and all types of stuff. And a lot of teams hit and a lot of teams miss on players. A lot of players get their bags. A lot of players, go to better situations, whether it's schemes or just chemistry or whatever it is. But in today's video, I'm going to be talking about 5 players that teams should avoid re-signing or giving another chance. I think these players, their course is over with, and we should talk about it in today's video. Now, the first player I have to talk about is Marcus Peters, man. Now, this is going to be a controversial take. Now, I already know, man, Marcus Peters, he brings that Raven swag, what I'm saying, with the toughness and the gangster, what I'm saying. No, I'm just playing. But this year he really did struggle, and the wild card round versus the Bengals, he did struggle versus Jamar Chase. Now, as you can see, his stats: 62 targets, 44 receptions, that's 71%, which is a career high for him. 519 yards, 5 touchdowns allowed, only had 1 interception, and he gave up 116.3 rating, man. I mean, not Marcus Peters style numbers. His completion rating and his rating, QBR rating, was his career high, and he clearly lost his step. Now, as we all know, he did miss the entire 2021 season, so I gave him a break. But it's just coming off this major injury, and he did not play every single game this year. It's just clear that he's just not that same player anymore. Now, he is on this contract year, and the Ravens, I think they paid him about like $10 million this past year. He's not worth that much money. Now, they have somebody in their backyard who they could replace Marcus Peters if they just let him grow, let him make mistakes, and that is Brandon Stephens. Now, Brandon Stephens, I understand he's not a solidified number 2 corner, but I think he could be. He had a little bit better numbers than Marcus Peters. He had about the same amount of targets, less receptions at 60% rating. He had 371 yards given up, 2 touchdowns given up, in a 92.3 QBR. I understand on paper it's not like super good, but the Ravens, they are pretty good at developing guys, especially guys who come in 3rd, 4th, 5th round picks. Guys like Anthony Averett, Chuck Clark, he's still on the roster. Geno Stone, he's like a 3rd-year player. Like, he's really good on special teams and when he's in the box. I just think if they just let Brandon Stephens grow and let him mature as a player, he can be that number 2 guy alongside Marlon Humphrey. Now, the next player on my list is Miles Sanders, whatever you want to call him, man. Miles, he is my running back. Yes, I'm an Eagles fan if you don't know. I understand, right? Miles Sanders, he's coming off pretty much a career year. His first 1,000-yard season, he was like top 10 of that. Really good. He's a really good power runner. He can get shifty at times, but the thing is, though, we have Jalen Hurts, and when you have a mobile quarterback similar to the Ravens, like, you can find cheap running backs who product for you or give you really good production. Like, I don't want to pay this man $20 million or $15 million for him to be really good because of Jalen Hurts is in the backfield with him. Now, don't get me wrong, Miles is a really good running back, but looking at it, it's just the Eagles, our financial is just not looking too good, and paying a running back who can get hurt, who can not produce really good numbers. Quite honestly, we can get a running back from the draft, but John Robinson from Texas, or we could give another running back with fresher legs somewhere in opportunity. Now, as we all know, Joe Burrow, he struggles in the pocket sometimes, and mainly that is not his fault. It is his O-line's fault about 95% of the time. Now, as we all know, the Bengals, they gave up so many sacks in the postseason last year, and even versus the Ravens in the wild card round, Joe Burrow was pressured, he was hurried, like, it was crazy, right, in the beginning of the game, but eventually they got it together, and one of those players is Jonah Williams. Now, Jonah Williams is a former 1st-round pick from the University of Alabama. He gave up about 10 sacks this season, 9 sacks in true passing sets, 28 hurries, and 42 pressures allowed, man. That is insane to me. They have to get that blind side fixed immediately, and mainly because if Joe Burrow gets hurt, there is no more gritty. There is no more big plays for the receivers. No, it's going to be a backup and you struggling to move the ball. Now, Joe Burrow was the second quickest quarterback to get sacked at about 3 seconds. Now, other quarterbacks that had about 3.5, maybe 4 seconds. But Joe Burrow, he was sacked so fast. And when the pocket was clean, over 2.5 seconds, he threw 13 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, which is pretty good. And he completed 66% of his passes, which is best in the league when the pocket is clean over 2.5 seconds. And he had the second best rating at 107.5. So when the pocket is clean, he is effective. He is dangerous. But when the pocket is collapsing and the O-line is not playing as good, mainly Jonah Williams, he threw 8 interceptions. And like, he was the quickest quarterback to get sacked. And it's just, again, like, Joe Burrow, he needs protection because sooner or later that injury bug is going to hit him if he gets hurt or if he gets just a nasty hit on him one day. And you got to blame the O-line. I mean, it's only so much that he can do. I mean, yes, the receivers can run shorter routes or, they can have, quick hits here and there. But the thing is, though, like, they have so many good route runners that, that you want them to run deep routes, a deep post or a go route or something like that. And they need the pocket to be clean. Now, here's a player who's a bit more like controversial, or not controversial, it's just like you have to dig a little bit deeper to really see if he's worth staying or paying or trading. It's Alex Highsmith. Now, Alex Highsmith, on the surface, he had 63 total tackles, 14.5 sacks, which was top 5, 12 tackles for loss, and he led the league with 5 forced fumbles. But the thing is that when you dive in a little bit deeper, he only won 13% of his pass rush sets. He only had 28 pressures, 6 QB knockdowns, 6 hurries, but 65 blitzes. Now, here's the crazy part. The Steelers was the 6th highest team at blitzing. Not 6th best, but 6th highest. But they were the 3rd worst at hurries, the 10th worst at QB knockdowns, and the 3rd worst at pressure percentage. Now, this could be a result of, them missing TJ Watt. And yes, that is a big part, but they still had Cameron Hayward. He was still there. And I just feel like Alex Highsmith, he's not a true pass rushing linebacker. He is pretty fast, pretty athletic. But the thing is, though, like those sacks, I feel like those sacks are coming off of covered sacks, or, when they blitz, he just gets, like a little free loop. You know what I'm saying? Now, the thing is, the Steelers, they can re-sign Alex Highsmith. He's going to leverage those sacks and things like that to get more money. Cool, right? I'm all for him getting his bag. But from the Steelers standpoint, they can get a cheaper option. And one of those options is Josh Uche. He played for the New England Patriots. He had 27 total tackles, which is okay. 11.5 sacks, 9 tackles for loss, and 2 forced fumbles. Now, he won about 24% of his pass rush sets, 25 pressures, 3 QB knockdowns, 10 hurries, and 6 blitzes. That's if they want to, go with the cheaper option and not bring back Alex Highsmith because he's just not really good at pass rushing. Or if they want a more expensive option to go alongside or the opposite side of TJ Watt, they can go with defensive stud Jalen Phillips, man. But I personally think he just, he's not going to leave the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins are going to dig into the salary cap, into the luxury tax, and bring him back. But if they want to, they could bring him in. He had about 61 total tackles, 7 sacks, 8 tackles for loss, 1 forced fumble, 25% of his pass rush sets, and he's a pure like edge rusher. 16 QB knockdowns and 11 hurries on 64 blitzes. Yeah, if they want to dig into that, yes, they could bring in Jalen Phillips. But the thing is, with the salary cap and all this stuff, can they do that? Now, this last player, he's probably one of my favorite versatile players in college football history. That is Isaiah Simmons, man. Now, Isaiah Simmons, I don't know where to begin because he was supposed to come in here, show so much versatility, and be that guy who can line up in the safety, line up in the box, D lineman, edge rusher, all that. But it just seems like he just haven't found his footing within the Cardinals organization. I think if he goes to the right system, maybe like the Patriots, or maybe the Eagles, some team like that, that can better utilize him. Now, on the surface, he has 99 total tackles, 4 sacks, 5 tackles for loss, 2 interceptions, and 2 forced fumbles, which is pretty good for him, right? But he lined up majority of the time in the slot. Gave him about 57 targets, 49 receptions, which is 86%, which is like league worst, right? 376 yards, 295 of those yards were yards after catch. He missed a lot of tackles, you know what I'm saying? He had 2 interceptions. He had a 79.5 rating. I think the rating, is being a little bit too easy on him. I think the rating should be a lot lower, honestly, because 86% of balls were caught paused in the slot. Like, what? Come on now. And even when the Cardinals did line him up at the D-line or the edge, outside linebacker, he won 22% of his pass rushing sets, which is pretty good. I think that's pretty good. 4 sacks, 6 pressures, 2 hurries. Not that bad. Again, he's a very versatile player, and I just think if he just finds a better system, I think his numbers can go up even more. I think he's more of a linebacker. Him in that slot, I don't know. I think maybe just because of his speed, that's why he's out there, or that's why he's in the slot. But he's more of a linebacker to me. And I think, again, he reminds me a little bit of Adrian Phillips, a faster linebacker who has a lot of safety, who can play in zone coverage. And that's where he, to me, that's where he fits more. But with all that being said, those are just my personal thoughts, my opinions. I'm not no football expert or anything like that. I'm just a guy who just loves watching football, and I just like to speak what's on my mind. They're just my thoughts. But if you like the video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and make sure you also comment down what players that I missed or what players, think about these players and things like that. And we are out, man. Peace.